Hello, hello. There we go. We should be going live. Awesome. Okay, looks like everything's coming through. It says something. Let me actually... Building in public time. Woohoo! Let me go to YouTube on my iPad just to double check. I should probably set this up beforehand, but one day I'll get there. Okay, looks like it's good. There's not too much of a lag too, so that's awesome. So I'll just leave this up on here and hope that it works. Okay, here we go. So what we are doing today we are going to be building an expense tracker app. But actually, we're not going to really be doing any, we're not going to be doing any coding because I'm basically going to be setting everything up to show you what's going to be going on. Greetings from Germany. Hello, hello. Double checking everything looks good. It says no viewers, but I know people are here, so hello. Live chat, that's showing. Okay, we should be good. I'm going to keep the background music off for right now. So here is an overview of what we are going to be doing. So first, we are going to be making an expense tracking app. So what that actually means is this is going to be an expense tracking app for freelancers and small businesses. So really kind of one person, they may not have tons of transactions yet, but that's pretty much it. It's mainly at the moment going to be replacing my current spreadsheet that I have. And so what this process will be is it'll be just the process of making an app. It will not be showing you how to make an app, as in you're not really going to be following along step by step to make all of this happen. But what we will be going through are different decisions. So we're going to be going through how, the thought process that I have on how we make, how we choose what tech stack we're using, why I chose the iPad, and stuff like that. You're going to be seeing the architecture. So you'll be seeing what architecture I chose, like MVVM, MVC, something else. Spoiler, it's going to be MVVM is what it is. And then also just the project structure, so how I organize my projects. So yeah, I went over what we'll be building, which is an expense tracker app. And we're going to be using Swift charts, so we'll have a couple charts of things like showing what is the gross income, what is the net income, over a monthly period of time or yearly, and then also pie charts of your expenses versus income in different categories. You can have everything in. Okay, so why did I choose the iPad first? So I chose to use the iPad first because I was going to be using, I was going to make it a macOS app to begin with. But what happened was I realized that to actually make a macOS app, I would need macOS Ventura to actually use all of the beta features. So I would have to move my Mac over to a beta, and I wanted to stream everything. So streaming while on a beta software may not be the best because something may freak out because it's beta, but then also because I need my Mac to not be on a beta because I have a freelance project that I'm working on and I have to finish that, and we're not using any beta kind of thing, so I can't put my Mac on a beta just for this project. So to kind of get around that, I was let's make an iPad app because I can use the Xcode 14 beta and run the beta simulator and not actually need to switch my Mac itself over to beta software. So hopefully that works out. I'm not sure what it'll do for the server side, but we'll get there when we get there. But then I also have an iPad Air, and that iPad Air, like I actually just got it, so it's totally fine if I move it to a beta software. So we'll get to that point of moving my iPad to a beta software, but then I can actually test everything on my iPad. Hey Kevin, how's it going? Double checking that my door is closed, so we're good. Okay, what else? So the tech stack. We will be using SwiftUI charts. So the new charts framework with SwiftUI. The entire app is going to try to be built in SwiftUI. So we're going to try to do as much as we can, and then if we need to go back to UIKit, or eventually when we do macOS, go back to AppKit, we'll see when we get there. But we're going to try to do everything in SwiftUI. We'll be using the Xcode 14 beta, and whichever one is the latest, so I just saw beta 2, was released I think a little bit ago, but we'll be using Xcode 14 beta 2 to start. We may transfer that later to a beta 3 if one comes out. And then a big thing I want to try to use is the passkeys. So that means passwordless sign up. And I'm excited to do that because we don't need a password to actually like sign in and create an account. And that sounds like super, super fun. And for the backend, we will be using Vapor. So what that is it's a server-side Swift framework. So that just means like we will have an API that connects to some kind of database, and how we're going to be making that API is with Vapor. Hello, how's it going? And then lastly is why Vapor. So we will be using Vapor because it's fun. I mean, there's not really another reason. I was looking at either Vapor or using CloudKit, because CloudKit now you can transfer apps if you ever were to sell the app, typically or previously you were not able to actually transfer the application over. So now that you are, CloudKit was more of an option that I was possibly thinking of using, but I just didn't want to, kind of. I haven't made like a complete full application with Vapor, so I was like, let's try that and see how it goes. So that's why I chose Vapor for the backend, and then the database itself will actually be Postgres. So Kevin, you're good. Trying to figure out this Rick and Morty API to get characters with multiple pages of JSON. I've been looking at pagination stuff to try to get it all. Ooh. Yeah, pagination can get confusing, or pagination, however you pronounce it. But that sounds like a lot of fun. Hello, how's it going? So what we'll be doing in this stream today is we are going to be making tickets. Excuse me. We're going to be making tickets, meaning like, what are all the tickets for how we're going to do everything? And I'm going to be using a software called Linear to do that. And then we are going to be sketching what the app is going to look like. And that's pretty much it. It's just sort of getting started, figuring out what is this app going to look like. So if you're interested in seeing more, be sure to like the video, and let's get into it. And also, ooh, I just made this, so let's see. I'll put it in the chat. Ooh, Megan likes the Linear. Yes, I made them also use Linear, and they like it too. And I recently just made a Buy Me a Coffee link because I'm not monetized on YouTube. So if anybody is interested, feel free to buy me a coffee. You don't have to. You're not obligated. I believe I set up the stream alerts part of that on my stream. So if you do, hopefully I see it. We will see though. Still figuring out the whole streaming thing. But let's transition over to double checking everything is good. Stream health, that's what we need. Let's move over to my other screen. Oh no, too many wires. If everything could be wireless, that would be great. Except everything I have is not wireless. Okay, now that we have the intro of everything, let's get some background music going on. So let me know how that sounds. If it's too loud or you can't hear me anymore, then I'll turn it down a little bit. And so let's do, first things first, let's do the tickets. Yeah, let's make some tickets for how this is gonna work. So Kevin is what he's working on. There's a Swift package manager for their API. Oh, that's interesting, but confused on how that, on that too. Ooh, yeah, if they don't have good documentation, if they have a Swift package, you could possibly open up an issue and ask them questions. Or be like, just tell them you can't understand anything, like, help. Okay. Let's go into, my other screen, monitor. There we go. Oh, I need to figure out, I need to do something with my chat so it's not like, oh, it's hard to see with this background. I did not think of that. Let's do displays. Let's see, let's change the background real quick because you cannot I can barely see the chat because it's all white. It's white. Desktop, that's where it is. There we go. That's the one I typically use. But I decided to change it up a little bit here and there. Okay. So there we go. Let's make tickets for how this application is going to work. So first things first. Oh, I don't have any templates because I forgot to make any. That's okay. We may make some right now. So first we need some categories for everything. So we'll just make those, or labels, that's what they're called, as we go. So we have bug, feature, and improvement. That's our default ones. And this is Linear, the application I'm going to be using to track everything. So let's go to team settings and labels. So let's create a new label. Let's call this Vapor. Oh, does it have to be a color? Okay. We'll choose that and... Oh, where's the water drop? Droplet. There we go. So we have this color, so we should, if we go back to our, not settings, if we go back to here and we create a new issue, we should see that label. There we go. Cool. Let's make a couple others. So we will have team settings, labels, we'll have Vapor as an option. Oh gosh. Edit. Is there like an actual blue? Okay, that blue's fine, I guess. Or can I choose no color? Is that an option? I guess not. Oh, you've been stuck the past couple days. Yeah, that's definitely what I would do. It's just reach out to somebody, reach out to them, be like, hey, I don't know how to do this. Okay, so we have Vapor, which will be the back end. So let's also do iOS. Let's do the phone. Is it iPhone? Yeah, it is iPhone as the emoji. So we have Vapor, we have iOS, and we'll be doing, let's add a V1.0. And this will be a rocket because we might come up with stuff that is not v1.0. Or in that case, we'll just put it in the backlog. So actually, we probably don't need this one. But let's do this. So we basically have our front end and our back end. Okay, so question. What about brain marks on iOS 16? Have you tried running the app on the second beta version? I have not. There's a huge bug in it right now, and I kind of need to rewrite some stuff, and I just haven't gotten around to doing it, so maybe I'll do it sometime. I need to kind of just carve out time to do that. I will eventually, but I think there was a bug in it when iOS, we're on 15 now, I think it was iOS 14? Or it was 14 to 15. There was a bug in it, like the whole navigation item, like the navigation bar items like did not work at all, which was kind of weird, but I just fixed it like after the release. Not that many people use it, so it's okay. So linear, yeah, linear is, it's a tool. It's like Megan said, it's issue tracking software like Jira. Okay, I was seeing how loud the music is through my little iPad. Okay. Let's see. What do we want to do first? Okay, had to open my iPad again because I have notes on here. Let me move this. I need a bigger desk, which is funny because my desk is actually ginormous. I think I just need to organize better. Awesome, I'm glad you like the music. I'm using Stream Beats EDM, but this doesn't sound very EDM to me, so we may change it, but that's technically what it's classified as. Okay, we are going to be, let's do it, first issue. We're not going to really be using priorities because technically everything's going to be a priority. And I'm not going to assign, this is for me, I'm not going to assign everything to me, that's kind of obnoxious. We'll maybe use the estimate, but let's think. Okay, what are we doing to make an expense tracker app? We need to have, let's see, eventually we'll need to deploy the to Heroku, and that will be a Vapor thing. And that, let's say it's a small task. So this, how this works is it's called like t-shirt sizing for estimation. You have extra small, small, medium, large, and extra large. I think these are just like there's no estimate, or I don't know what the hyphen means. Let's say it's a small task. Let's see, deploy the Vapor API to Heroku is something we'll have to do eventually. Where did that? Oh, here's the estimation thing. Okay, we're not going to do allow 0. Okay. Yeah, this software, I'm sorry, I'm very bad at pronouncing names, and I don't want to like very poorly butcher your name, but this software is really cool because you can use it with the GUI like we have here, but you can also control this software fully through the command line, which is pretty cool. So we'll have to eventually do that. We need to make, what do we need in the iOS app? When we make an iOS app, we need to, I'm not going to say create the project because that's kind of basic. Well, we have tabs. Let's do that. Let's do the main app. So create tabs. We'll have the main, and we'll have settings, because that's basic. That's not small, that's extra small. And I need to plug my laptop in. So Megan asks, am I going to be using any build tools like Xcode or Toist? For this, probably not. I was thinking most likely do, possibly thinking Xcode, but I kind of don't want to also be doing the macOS and like whole multi-platform kind of app, because I wasn't sure how all of that was going to work together, because I've never used it before. So I was gonna not do it for now, but I will be doing CI/CD. So one thing I do want to do is set up Xcode Cloud. That's an iOS thing. Let's call it a small task, because I haven't done that before. One thing I do want to do later on, not for V1.0, is connect to a bank account so that you can import. Whoops, that should not be a C, that should be an A. So you can import your transactions as opposed to entering them all manually. Let's just call that large, because nobody knows what's going to happen. And let's call it a feature, because I don't really know if that's going to be a back-end, front-end thing. So Xcode Cloud should be easy-ish to set up. That sounds about right. Because we don't know how easy or hard that'll be. So let's do that. So we need to do CRUD applications for Vapor. So that will be create, read, whoops, read, update, and delete. For, let's call them transactions for right now. We have to do create, read, update, delete. That'll be large. And that is on the Vapor side. We'll also need to do CRUD on the iOS side. For transactions on iOS. In the iOS app, we'll need to do create, read, update, and delete. Let's go with iOS, and let's say large again, because we don't really know. And what kind of charts? The charts, maybe we'll have more tabs. We may have a tab for charts. Let's see. What will we also be doing? We will be doing... Oh, this one needs to actually be not in to-do, but it'll be in the backlog. So that means it won't actually show up in this list. It'll show up in the whole list of issues. Oh yeah, these are the tutorial issues. It'll show up in the whole list of issues, but not when we do active. That only shows us like to-do marked ones. And lastly, what I have written down is... Let's do... Oh, at one point we'll be deployed... Deploy to beta testers, so that's that's a small task, but that is more on the iOS side. Maybe. Because I'm not sure how the whole thing is going to work with a staging environment with like the Vapor server. That's a whole different issue. So this is a solid this is a maybe, because that might mean we need a staging server. And that's a lot more work than what I'm ready for right now. So yeah, for anybody who may have just joined, we are currently making tickets for my expense tracker app that I'll be making. And these are the basics of everything that we're doing. Like, it's not terribly difficult. So we'll see how this goes. But let's do one more thing for... What do we want to do? The charts that we're going to be making. Let's do, let's say, monthly gross income. Monthly gross income, monthly net income, and let's do monthly expenses. And that could be large because we don't really know. That'll be on the iOS side. Okay, so here we go. These are pretty much the basics of what we're going to be working on. Are all of these tasks, and this is how we make an app. So Megan asked, since it's a V1, you could also just not do... Oops, moving everything around. Since it's a V1, you could also just not do a staging server for your beta yet. That's true, and just like say, sorry everybody on beta, like everything's just gonna be erased. Yeah, and start off with a small beta group who understands their data can be deleted or changed. That's a good idea. That's true. I could definitely do that. That'd be a lot easier, probably. So if you want to be a... Excuse me. If you want to be a beta tester for this app, when we get to that point, be sure to comment that below, and I'll eventually reach back out for like emails or something to do the actual beta testing. Okay, so let's get into something a little bit more fun. Now that like the boring-ish kind of stuff is done. So we need to figure out, what is this app going to look like? So I can either start sketching it with a sketch that I have right here. So if we choose iPad, I have an iPad Air. Let's do that. So I can either start sketching it in Sketch, which will show us like more updated, typically Sketch is used for more high fidelity mockups, or we can do this and right here, I'll move it right here. I have Sketch on my iPad right now, or not Sketch, sorry. This is an app called Mockup that's on my iPad right now, so if I move everything around so I can have my iPad in front of me. A lot of cables. So here we could zoom in and I can draw and you can all see it. So let's do this. Let's sketch from here for right now. Okay, so let's get thicker. Yeah, let's use that. Let's use that size. Let me move. Everything around. Okay, so how do I want to do this? Let's do... So this is in portrait at the moment, but because I wanted this to be a macOS app, I always imagine this in landscape first. So let's see, can we switch these around? So I've sometimes, this is a really good app, I've seen it, but I haven't really used it too in depth. But let's do my elements. There's nothing. Mockup. Okay, cool. So we have all of these that we can use. Oh, can I undo that? I don't want text. Clear. Wait, why does it say draw selection? Okay, that was... Oh, it's because I was tapped on that. Whoops. We'll just do this like this. Let's just lock my iPad here so we... Oh no, you all can't see it then. Oh, if you're trying to make it landscape, you need to make a new sketch file. Oh, darn. Thank you, Megan. Keep it. There we go. Oh, there's the landscape. Let's go. Oh, that was really poor handwriting. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Megan. Oh, and I think I chose 2 different iPads even. Okay, so how I imagine seeing this app is I imagine seeing something like... I'm trying to figure out... My stuff is in the way. Let's say we have... On the side, you'll have a typical, you know, icon. It says income. We have another icon. It says expenses. This is that left pane. It's really big because my handwriting's gigantic. Okay, what else? Oh, hey, how's it going? How do you pronounce your name? Is it John, like John? It's just spelled differently? Or is like, is your name pronounced differently? Well, thank you for stopping by, even though you can't stay for long. I always see your name, but I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. I don't want to like butcher everybody's name because I feel bad. Okay, so we have income expenses. Let's just focus on... And then you'd have like settings. Okay, it is more like Johan. Okay, I thought it was, but I wasn't really sure. Johan or just say Johan? Okay. Swedish gets me. It is not pronounced anywhere close to like English based on the spelling. Okay, if we have income, expenses, and settings, what do we want to end up seeing on each one of these? if we are on our income tab, we would probably want to see charts. Would that be the first thing you would want to see on your everything? And then, whoops. We would need somewhere to enter everything as well. That could either be on this screen or it could be in a pop-up. Let's put that in a pop-up. So this is gonna be a plus button. Does mockup have any plus buttons for us? There's a button. What else do I... Can I not use these? Oh, do I need to be... I have a free version of this. That may be why. Oh well. Hey Anthony, how's it going? Definitely be a pop-up? Okay. It rounds with Hannibal, so... like Yanimal? Or Yanibol? I'm sorry, I'm very bad at this. But okay, we'll have a pop-up. What do you want to see when you say we're on the income tab right now? So pretend those lines are not as obnoxious, but we're on income at the moment. Let's go with, let's just say red for right now. Actually, it would be green. So we are on the income tab at the moment. Yeah, Anthony, so I'm currently doing a mock-up in sketching out what this will look like because I haven't even built it. So there, because my name. So we are basically just sketching out what is this app going to look like. Okay, so if we're on the income tab, you would say, I would think, let's just do a basic bar chart right here, and then for like monthly income, and then let's do income sources. So this would be a pie chart. I can't draw, if anybody can tell. Oops. So monthly income, we would have January, February, March, April. Oh gosh. Oh wow, made that perfect size. So we would have January's not a lot. Hopefully everybody's income looks a little bit better than that, and it isn't that dramatic. And I haven't looked too much at Swift charts. I'm not sure if we can have a legend, because that's definitely what I would like. So this would be like YouTube. And it would be, let's say, some kind of color. And then let's say purple. Let's call this, what other income sources are there? Let's say consulting. Let's do green. I have two more colors. Okay, green and orange. Let's see, what other income sources can you have? You could have... This really does not matter that much. I could just write like little lines, but I'm trying to make it look somewhat realistic. let's do... Oh, let's say indie apps. Oh, something we need to do. We can write this in our list is decide how to monetize. Is what monetization strategy are we going to use for this? And that will just be a feature. Because we'll make it so we can technically make money off of this application, but not like, probably won't be making millions, but, because not a new idea. But some way to monetize this app. There we go, Megan, you had two. Instagram and product. Good ones. Let's do, just say product. Or, ooh, let's do courses. There we go. So this should be monthly. Let's go to be more technical. Oops, this should be monthly. Let's do net income. Or not net, let's do gross. So that could be like, sorry, that could be like the first page you see when you're on the app is you see all your income. That looks good. Let's do, oh, come on, make a new one. Come on, go. Why is it not going? There we go. So to actually enter something, let's, oh my goodness, let's do income. Track the product's value for products I'm given for IG posts because that's technically income. Ooh, that's true. That's a good one. And yes, stickers, that could all just be like classified under something like merch. That's what we'll do for now though. And let's do... Okay, so our pop-up, technically we wouldn't see the side stuff. Oops. So when we have a pop-up for, let's call this so this will just be a pop-up of like a new sheet. What will this look like to enter a new income source? Or for new, not expenses, this is for income still. So we'll have your typical, can I draw shapes with this? I think so. Perfect, look at that. Okay, so we have a square inside of a square. So it's gonna say income at the top because make it more clear. And should we do a drop down? Like a context menu drop down, or do a like table view looking thing where you have the row, you tap on the row, it goes to another view where you select the actual option and then you go back? Would that be the best way to actually select something? It could be something like that. Let's do... Context menu will start to get a little crazy once if you have a lot of income sources that you are tracking. Let's just do a row. So we'll say... Oops. You gotta see my awful handwriting. I didn't think about that when I thought of doing this. So this will be... that's close enough. So this will be one of those arrows where it'll have income source and we'll say like YouTube here. And then you would tap on it. Let's make a new page just to be sure. You would tap on it and you would just have like YouTube. You would just have like your list and you would select it and then go back. What other ones did I say? YouTube consulting, indie apps and courses. Square squared? Wait, what is square squared? Okay, so that would be what it would look like. You would tap on your row. You would have like, you know, a check mark or whatever next to it. Let's do this again. Okay, would look something like that. So we have income source. We need the amount. That will be another box. Wow, it did not detect that. There we go. Okay, we have income source, we'll have amount. We need the date. Oops. Oh my gosh. We need the date, which that will just be the normal calendar picker date thing. Let's say YouTube, we had 200. Ooh, here's a decision that we could make that I am not sure about. Is, do we support multiple currencies? Because currency can get confusing quickly because there's so many ways to represent money. Hey Stuart, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the encouragement. I really appreciate it. Let's do... maybe? Let's do something like that. Just support the default local. In what way do you do like only default local? Like, Megan, how do I go about doing that? Because yeah, it's definitely making it as simple as I can, for sure. What do we want to do? Let's say... you could either add a row in your DB that sets the local based on what the iPhone is set to, or just the iPhone side use the local. Oops, sorry. Let's see, Megan's suggestion. Your phone is set to. We'll go with that for right now. Let's make a new, that's what we should do. Let's make a new label. Where's the thing to choose labels? We need a new category. Our new category is going to be questions. So let's make this one red to match the emoji. And we need to have a questions category because at some point we need to answer these questions. So let's switch that from improvement to question. So there we go. So that will have to happen at some point because yeah, it's making anything that does anything with money. Yeah, we'll have to think about that sometime. We will get back to that though. Okay. When we are entering a new income source, let's have the save button. Whoops. So we are entering your income source, your amount, your date. Do we need to enter anything else? Where is my phone? I have a spreadsheet of all of this, so I can see what it is that I'm doing. What is it that I already track in my own? What do I already track on my own for my business? I track the date, the amount. Ooh. So this is something good. So I track the invoice date, so the date I sent an invoice to somebody, the date they paid the invoice, and the invoice number. And a description. So my sketch may not have room for this, but let's throw those things in here as well. Or not income number, invoice. Whoops. Let's do invoice number. Oops. So technically, this could probably, instead of looking kind of like this, it could end up just looking like a whole row if we were to scroll. Yeah, let's pretend it looks like that. So we have invoice number, the date you paid, income source, I'm not sure if other people do this or if it's common in other softwares. That's something to probably look up. Is on mine, I track what account it went into. So like if it went into my checking account or if it went into like a savings account or something, I track where I put the money as well when I receive it. But I don't think that's super common. It's not the most important thing on income because typically it's all going to one account. But if anyone knows, if other softwares track that, like Xero, which is spelled Xero, if Xero does it or QuickBooks or something, let me know and I could throw that in here as another property for sure. Otherwise, we'll just leave it out for right now. And then we need description. And description will take up the rest of the space. Here, let's make it a pretty line. No. There we go. Let erase the whole line? I don't want to erase the whole line. What does that do? Oh, that's not what I want. Why will that line not go away? I'm trying to erase that little extra line there. It's not going away. let's see. Okay, we'll just leave that line there. It'll be fine. Okay, so this is what the pop-up will look like for when you are saving your income. We'll have that. Gotta have a cancel button. Okay, what else? Ooh, I know it's a thing a way to track. There's a YouTube channel called Life Accounting, and I've been using that. It's an amazing channel. It has a bunch of accounting related kind of stuff. But something they do, or have specified, is their cash versus let's just say bookkeeping. So for bookkeeping, you can decide, do you want to do cash versus accrual? And I need to decide, I think the way I do my business and keep my books is cash, is the cash like method. So, I spelled accrual wrong. Let's right click and spell that right. No. Great, I need to look up how to spell it because I don't know. Oh shoot, I just hit all my windows. Okay. ACCRU. Oh. Accrual, that makes sense. So that is a question, definitely to answer. Anthony, you can make a mock-up like this. This is just sketching poorly. So we're gonna make this mock-up, and I think later go into making it, making this kind with an actual like sketch. But for now, we're just drawing very poorly, is the way to go. Okay, checking my social media. Okay, let's do, so we have the income side. That's pretty much what it'll look like. If anyone can think of anything else that you need when entering new expenses, I don't think we need anything else. And yeah, Megan's right. I'm using an app called Mockup, and this is what I'm using to actually do all the sketching. Okay, so we have this. Let's do... Come on. There we go. So, now let's do our... Oops. Income, expenses, and settings. And now, if we were on the expenses tab, let's look at, what would that look like? Oh my gosh. So I had tried to make an expense tracking app one time, like in a 24-hour hackathon. It didn't really work because I got stuck on like how to make a cell, like a table view cell, as opposed to like just making something basic. So like I did not get that far, but a big question and something I ran into with, it's a naming convention thing. Should you call things expenses or should they be transactions? What would be the use case for calling something an expense versus calling it a transaction? Can you draw with your iPad on Mac? I don't believe so. There's nothing that really lets you do that. Right now I am using an iPad Air, and this window is actually just QuickTime because you can take screen recordings like this. So you're seeing my monitor, and then I have an Apple Pencil and my iPad, and I'm just like in a sketching kind of app that's called Mockup. Okay, Kevin, why would you call them transactions versus expenses? And that is not centered, but that is okay. This is just a poor sketch. So Megan's argument is you think it depends if you're using the same type for income or for expense. What do you mean same type? A transaction is more general for you, which means that it could be an income or an expense. Okay, I see that. And Kevin, yeah, for you, you had transaction because it gives a more broad terminology. I would say that's true, too. Let's see, let's look up. Let's do some research while we're here. Where's my mouse? Let's look up. Let's do some Googling. Let's look up bookkeeping software and see what do other people, how did they use, what did they say? Let's do best accounting software. Let's just look at images. Okay, so Zoho, which is, I believe, a relatively free one. It's pretty popular. Ooh, total receivables and payables, I think, is the more accounting term to possibly use. Oh, they have income and expense right there. Okay, so here they have an expense. So Megan, you say your accounting software says transaction, but that's because it includes both income and expense, which is true. That makes sense. That is a transaction. Technically, yes, it's a transaction. I think is more broad, and then income and expense could be your then like subcategory of that transaction itself. Kevin, you say you don't think many people say how many expenses you have completed in a month, but more how many transactions you have completed. This is true. Oh, this is difficult. Naming is the hardest part. Because really, yeah, you could have... You say the words, what kind of transactions you have. But if it's like, yeah, cost of goods sold, meaning... If it's a different kind of industry, not like software, where it's like you have to buy products to then sell, you're making a transaction of something. Or it's an expense to you before you can then sell it. Because yeah, I would say a single thing that you're entering is called an expense. But when you look at the list of expenses, I would sometimes then call that a list of transactions. Let's see what examples do they have here? Inventory reports. I do want to add some kind of reporting, but oh, see? Yep, basic. It's accrual, or you can also have cash. That's something to look at eventually. Maybe we'll track invoices in here later on. That's a whole different thing. Okay, so it looks like Zoho kind of goes more on the side of a saying, and it's an expense. Let's see, what are the other top ones? Oh yeah, QuickBooks. Let's look at the top. QuickBooks. Ooh, what are micro business owners? Does that mean you're not like a macro business owner? Okay, best for part-time freelancers. Oh, it was also QuickBooks. Let's look at all of these real quick. It's only an expense if it deducts money, though. This is true. Good point. save on tools for your entire business. Okay, can we get like some screenshots of how this works? Oh, they have, you can see in this screenshot it says expenses. And they use sales for like income, which is true. Let's do track income and expenses. Let's see, what does this look like? Is that blurry? Was that pop-up blurry to anybody else before I clicked off of it? Oh yeah, for expenses we'll need categories. So Megan, I think if you call it an expense and it doesn't deduct money, then there will be more confusion from the user base. In what way would your expense never deduct money? What use case is that? Ooh, would you want to put transactions to have a note of any refunds, returns, or reimbursements? Oh, that's a good point. That's also a very good point. Expense tracking is hard. This gets confusing real quick. Let's see. I would say go back. We're not signing up right now. Need to calm down. So Kevin, I would say I would classify refunds, returns, and reimbursements. Yeah, it wasn't actually a sale. See, I have not crossed that bridge yet because this is mainly for freelancers as opposed to somebody who's selling physical goods. Or no, not freelancers, I suppose. Freelancing is more service-based, which you can have returns. I haven't had that part yet because of the people I work with. We haven't needed to return any kind of money. But that is a use case I have not thought of. Let's do it. So, transactions. So that is a very, very good question that I do not know the answer of right now. So the naming issue of what I'm kind of thinking of right now is, hang on. It's basically right here. We are showing our income on one tab, and then we would have our expenses on another tab. But should we call them income and expenses, or it wouldn't really be called transactions? That would be weird for income and transactions, because yeah, it's true. Technically, income can be a transaction. Let's just go with income and expenses. I'm just thinking of when I'm like talking through things sometimes, it's like when you list your expenses, sometimes you don't say it's a list of expenses, you'll say it's a list of transactions. You're just calling them transactions when they may be expenses. Let's just make it easy, yeah. Call it expenses for right now. That is the easier one. Now you can have another nav that says transactions to see both income and expenses together. True. That may be... I'm debating if that would be a cash flow kind of graph, or... Because yeah, I was thinking of... It could be like this, and then also possibly having like... overview, or let's call it... or a dashboard. So you could have another option above. So you may not directly see your income as the first screen, you could see a dashboard of some sort, which would show you everything, and then you could go down further into income or expenses. I should have talked to Sean Allen. He kind of built something very similar to this already, and then he added his YouTube part into his series, which was, what is it, Creator View Chronicles, CVC. It's on his YouTube channel. He did something relatively similar. Oops. Okay, let's do expenses. What would we want to see with expenses? When we're looking at graphs with expenses, what kind of graphs would we want to see? We want to see the same thing, basically, of like just your, oops, the bar graph and then like pie chart. Because I think it's weird calling them sources. I would say it's more like categories. But I call in my own spreadsheet, I call it categories for income as well. Your app, or our apps are very similar, except you're just centered around vehicle maintenance. Yeah, they definitely are very similar. What should we do? Because you're gonna have a lot of different expense categories, so seeing it as a pie chart I feel like may not be as useful. And also, should it be one of these, like vertical bar charts, or it could be a horizontal bar chart? What are those technically called? Like, this is actually a bar chart, whereas the other one is technically, I think, called a column chart. So it could look like that as well. But again, there's a lot more categories of expenses than there are of income in my business at the moment, of like freelancing. So seeing a pie chart of my expenses, I don't care as much. What would we do? How do people want to see expenses? Let's go back to Googling some more. Okay, so we have our bookkeeping software. Let's just go to images. What do these look like for people? What is that? Yeah, they have like 4 categories for expenses. That's not really accurate. And then, we're not gonna do it now, but it is a whole can of worms to be like, do you have subcategories of things? I don't even know what aged receivables is. That's a good chart. Do people find this chart useful? I sometimes don't. It's the chart where you have like your income and expense and they're just next to each other on the same chart for each month. I don't find it that useful, but I mean, I guess it is to other people. You do, Megan? Let's make a dashboard page. Oh, can I not go up anymore? Okay, we'll go left. Oh, I can't go left anymore either. Well then, I thought you could go any which way. We'll call this one overview. Or let's make... Let's make this one. Oh geez, can't spell. Let's do an overview and a dashboard. Should they just be a quadrant of like 4 different things? Oh, thank you for that. You just, you're a chartaholic. You just love data visualization. I feel that. Okay, income. Income and expenses. So we would have this. Where did they put that? They put the thing. Let's put it at the. Let's pretend it can go right here. Or not black. I need green. Okay. So let's just make it a quadrant. What 4 charts would you want to see on your overview? I want to do a line chart of some sort somewhere. So, Yanable, is that right? The only chart that you come across is in the pedometer app. You wouldn't mind wondering how much time I spent on my phone. Yeah, that's on the... I know Screen Time has a chart. I don't look at it that often. I just look at the like weekly report that says like, oh, you've been on your phone for 12 hours every day. What other charts should we look at for your overview? Ooh, a line chart for a cash flow where it combines both a line chart and a bar chart. You'll Discord me an example. Okay, cool. I will be on the lookout for that. I have everything on Do Not Disturb, so that's why if I don't respond, that's what I'm looking at. Profit and loss. Oh, I do kind of like this looking one. Let's switch the music. I'm just kind of feeling something else. Let's do... Oh, I don't like that. Okay, let's see if that one gets better. I do want to have a line chart of some sort somewhere. See, because as a freelancer, I don't have that many sales, so it's not going to look like a sale like, oh, last 30 days you have like, it's going to look like this. It'll have like one little spike, and then everything else will be like not there, because I just invoice people once a day, or sorry, once a month. Is this music kind of obnoxious? I feel like it may sound squeaky. This is technically dubstep. Okay, so you have inflow, outflow. Oh, so you have the... I see. We want happy charts, yeah. Yeah, what do you think of this music? It's this sound right here. It seems very... I don't know if that comes across weird on headphones. I feel like it seems very scratchy. So this could work if we ever track invoices themselves, which I'm not really doing. This is more like a bookkeeping kind of software, like strictly bookkeeping over something else. Oh hey, Megan. Is that the same chart? Oh, that's funny. This is the chart though that you were talking about. So we have incoming, outgoing, and then then you have your profit. That seems like a fun challenge. Let's throw it in there. There should be an option where all the line charts go upward regardless of data. That's funny. Oh, I see what you mean, Megan. But it's funny that I found one that does like the same thing after. Because I was looking at... the technical cash flow definition, I think, is... what is it? It's like different than what we think it is, like versus like accounting. I think the word cash flow is sometimes different. Let's go with this one. So we have this, we need bar charts up and down. Wait, I don't draw the line this way. No, it's... I have a line at the bottom. So we do have a y-axis, but we have... let's call this the middle. Okay, let's do that. And we have a line that goes through them, so... So, everybody who is here, you have to help me with the hardest part of making an app. So what do I call it? What should the name of this app be? Is this a straight line or is this a dotted line? It's a straight line. Gotta go take the dogs out, but you'll be back if I'm still going. Okay, have fun. I probably will be. I think I'm gonna go probably about a half hour. Okay. So we have cash flow, we have income expenses. Should we have another chart, or two more charts, so we would have like a full-on quadrant of things to see when you go on your dashboard / overview page, or Should I just make these charts like half the screen and be bigger? Or just have like big numbers or something? We could have a table. I kind of like that. So not this table exactly, but we could have a table of like, let's do, so this could just be a table that says, let's say last 30 days. This would say YouTube. Oh no. Sorry, my hat keeps hitting the microphone. I'm sorry if that's really loud. So everybody that's still on, let me know, what do you think I should call this application? Otherwise, it may just end up being called Expense Tracker, because I can't think of anything else. Making a lot of money consulting. And then, what was the last thing I had? Let's do indie apps. Actually, I wanted this to be ordered. Let's do. So this would be any more room. So we could have like top income sources on one side and then like top expenses. Yeah. Let's do. What expenses do people have? Let's say. Let's say subcontracting would be 1,000. Let's go with equipment. Let's say 800. Don't know what you're buying. You could buy an iPad for about 800. Let's do. I just had one. What's another expense people have? So 200. Our subscriptions. Oh my gosh, I can't spell. There we go. So your overview page could look like this. So we have our cash flow, we have our income and expenses chart. All this is last 30 days, so technically we could probably erase that. We could probably somewhere have something that would like change the time period, so all of this information would change for every time period. Sounds like a lot of work at the moment. But this looks good. Let's go. Okay, what do our expenses look like when we log them? Because we said income source, so let's say expense. Is it really low? Can I move that? Perfect. Let's see, what do I track when I do my expense tracking? This one's easier. I do expense source, I do amount. What else do we track? I track the account it comes out of, so... Okay, we'll draw the box right there. I'm gonna call this a category as well. Account, we need date. Okay, pretend that's even. And we have description. So we track paid subscriptions. So I made this as like a category of something. So typically, actually, you could probably call this like software, because like all the subscriptions I have are for software. It could be like that. Really is more of what I'm going for. These are the top categories that you have for income or expenses. And then here, we need to draw the last box. Okay, so it would be like this. So this would be add. We have add, we have cancel. And what else? Ooh, cash pal or chart coin. Why the coin part of it? I like them though. Ooh, that's another thing to add. question. That is the biggest question, is what do we name the app? Oh, whoops. Oh, I still didn't decide for the expenses. Do we want to see the exact same information, like another bar chart of our expenses, and then another pie chart of everything? Like, do we want to see a bar chart of expenses per month and then the category, or there's gonna be so many more categories, I think, for expenses. I feel like the pie chart starts to become less useful. Hey, Megan, welcome back. What do we call it? I'm trying to think of what do we put in this area? In this, our like little overview of our expenses. What do we want to see? Let's look at what charts do we have available to make. Yeah, we could start with a pie chart. That would be good. Ooh, let's do this one. It'll be the monthly looking chart, except we will do... Oh, hey James, how's it going? Let's do this for expenses. It'll be just one big bar chart, but with all of these different little colors on it to show you the different categories. I'm so sorry. Hang on. Just gonna delete almost every other one because we all get the point of what the chart is for. Let's do... Whatever the screen is, it takes up a lot. Just arbitrary category. So there we go. That can be our expenses for right now. Is just a... whatever this chart is called. I don't even know. What is this? It's a bar mark? We'll get back to it. And then this would be the legend. What do I want to call these? Expenses. Let's do. Equipment. What's something else you spend money on in a business? Let's say accounting. Okay. Oops, sorry. Oh, did I have that up the whole time I was coloring? I'm sorry. This is what I made. So we have our expenses. The overview would look like this. It would just be this bar-looking chart, but split into categories for each part. So we can have a better, also I didn't fill in all of them, but we could have a better overview of what each month looks like, but then also the category that we spent for that month, which is different than this one. So I only have about 15 minutes before I'm probably gonna head out, but the last part of this, we need to do settings eventually. We'll start down here. Oops. And I like the word dashboard, so I'm gonna go with dashboard right here. So the circle that represents like some kind of icon we're gonna fill in. Okay, so settings. What do we need in settings? Can we do a side-by-side list? Would that be weird? Like, so would this look weird? Like you have expense categories and income categories. We just have a list of them like this? So it would just like, those are the categories that go back to all of the different, these ones and what those are made of. But would this be weird that it's like a side-by-side list, or should I have a specific, like, it say income and then it say expense? I don't know how I'm feeling about this. What else do we need in the settings though? We'll have some account information, so we will need that. Let me look. What is one of the apps that I use? What do they have? Or, oh, I can do one of those. I know what I could do. One of those like basic SwiftUI lists where we have so it looks like this. So we'll have income categories, we'll have expense categories. What else do we need? Pretend those are even. What else do we want? We don't need any information from the user, really. Eventually we'll have probably bank account. This will be later, though. What else? Do we need anything else? For tracking expenses. So for tracking, we have expense category, amount, date, description. I don't think we need anything else. I think we're good. I think this is gonna be it. So let's do a little overview. Or for new. Oh my gosh. So here we go. What we drew today. Yeah, I'll make that bigger. So what we have today is, this will be our dashboard, or this is not the dashboard, this is the income actually. So we have our income page. So this is when you're on the income tab over here, we will see monthly gross income for the year, and then we have a pie chart of all of our income sources. So if we were to add income, that brings us to this pop-up, which is your basic. You tap the add button, the new modal comes up, and then we see the income category, what amount do we want to add, the date. We have invoice number, the invoice date, and the date paid, and then a description as well. And I think we do have 8. We have 7 views so far. Technically, the one at the bottom here, and this will go to another screen. That's just a list, but we're not going to draw that right now. So we have the income. Yeah, I'm doing invoice number, the date, and the date paid. in the description. So technically you would be able to create, this is the date that you would enter it, the invoice number, the invoice date. So what date did you send the invoice, and then what day did it actually get paid is most likely going to match the date. But I have that in my own records. I have these two separated in case, I don't know, I want to enter something earlier than it's actually paid. And then if you were to type the income category, it would bring you over to this little list where you would just tap which one and it would go back. Then here we have our expenses. So these are, if you tap on the expense tab, we will just do one chart for right now, which is this bar column chart thing, which will show you the monthly expense that you have, and then it'll be colored to show you the category itself. And then we'll tap the plus button to add a new expense, and it pretty much looks the exact same. We have expense category, amount, the account that it came from, because sometimes this could be kind of up to what people want. I usually do like business checking, and then like we'll have my credit card, if the money actually came on the credit card or if it was actually from my account or my checking account directly. And then we have the date, the description. And then lastly, this would be our dashboard. So this will be two charts of cash flow. So we'll see the income and expenses right here, and then your line is like, I think it's profit. Let's write that somewhere. And so we have our income and expenses on this side. So this will be monthly. So this dashboard will show you the last 30 days. So we'll have last 30 days of cash flow and of income and expenses. I don't know what this bar chart will be. Oh, it'll be days then. That's the x-axis. Then we'll have top income sources and top expenses, so you can see which ones like have them, or which ones are the most. And then lastly, we would have our settings screen, which is basically just where you would create your income categories and expenses, and then also eventually we're going to add a bank account. Definitely not in this first version, but that will be the last part, is this one. Bye, Megan. Thank you for dropping by and all the suggestions that you had. Excited to see you for the next one. And yeah, I'll add you for sure as a beta tester when we get there. But there we go. That is... Whoops, why does my bar go over there? So that's what we have for the start, is we have all of these. These are our basic sketches. The next one, it's either going to be start coding, or we may sketch it out a little bit better, as in use the sketch program itself and make it a little bit more high fidelity than just the little sketches that I wrote here. But that's what we have. So there we go. Thank you for everybody for joining and all the suggestions that you had. I'm really excited for this series and to see what happens next. Let me turn off music. And so if you like this, be sure to drop a comment below if you want to be a beta tester, and like the video if you want to see more of these kind of videos. So we're going to be starting an entire series, so that's what will be on the channel for a while. And let me know if you have any suggestions on making the app better, or are interested in learning more about a specific part of this whole app building process. So yeah, thank you for everybody for dropping by. I will talk to you later and see you in the next one. See you next Friday, because I'm doing this weekly, so it will be every Friday. So I will see you next Friday for this. Bye, everyone. I don't remember where the stop is. I haven't streamed in so long.